Signs of the Southland for Monday, May 25th, 2026. It's another edition of your weekly dose of Georgia Tech numbers and words. My name is Akshay Easwaran, and joining me from an intensely rainy, incredible torrential downpour is Jack Purdy. Jack, how are you doing?
I'm
You ACC champion, you.
oh me. Oh yes, I definitely won the ACC. That's the thing that I did. Um, I got back from Mandalorian Grogu like right before this downpour happened. I'm able to walk to the theater that I'm close by to, so I'm glad I didn't get absolutely drenched on my walk home and get to just watch the rain. But uh,
Quick take, hot take. Mandalorian and Grogu. Good, bad, ugly?
mediocre.
Hmm. Well, I
It,
think that's
it
cost us probably like 35% of our listener base thus far.
well, I would be really curious to know what the concentric circle of well, obviously everyone here listens to this as a tech sports nerd, but like, well, how much of a concentric circle is it also Star Wars nerds? I think there's got to be some that are not, but
No, you got to class yourself. We're going way in the weeds on this. You got to class yourself by what either movie series or TV show you watched on the Sci-Fi Channel as a kid. So, were
oh
you like watching Star Trek reruns on the Sci-Fi Channel? Were you watching just Star
right,
Wars movies, or were
yeah,
you like really deep in the muck with like Farscape or
I
Stargate SG-1?
right,
If
right,
you're a
right, right.
Stargate SG-1 guy, I want to hear from you. That's my childhood right there.
That was
Uh,
not mine. Side channels was not mine. I was homeschooled. That should give enough of an answer.
Look, the Sci-Fi Channel. That's where Liverpool and Brentford play this weekend. That's a sports channel, technically.
Oh, true.
We
All
should get
right,
back to talking about sports. I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
I think we've done enough. We've done enough
The
on the Sci-Fi Channel. Like you said, ACC champions. That is your Georgia Tech baseball team doing the double in ACC baseball, both the regular season and tournament championships collected. That is Georgia Tech's 10th ACC tournament championship. They did it in 3 games, a victory over Virginia, 16-10, and what turned out to be like a run homer fest, just really stressful. A 9-3 victory over the Hurricanes, and then a 13-6 again in a game that was much closer than the score indicates. A 13-6 victory over UNC in the final. It is Georgia Tech's first double championship since 2013. Like I said, it's their 10th ACC tournament title. It is their first since 2014. They are second in the conference in terms of total titles, total tournament titles behind Clemson at 11. This is Georgia Tech's best 57 game record in program history. 57 games. It's an interesting qualifier here, Jack, but I think I'm going to let you keep it.
That's just how
Uh,
many they've played. That's it. I mean, if we had mentioned earlier in the year they could match their regular season win record, but they just ran out of games. Like we just didn't play as many in the regular season as we have in the past. So it's weird. There's
uh, let me finish the Tower
keep
of
going,
Honors here.
keep going.
Finished their season with a 13 game ACC win streak, outscoring their last 8 ACC opponents by 110-25. Drew Burress broke Jason Varitek's career home runs record versus UNC with his 50, is that 58 or 59?
Yes, 58.
58th home run. The team as a whole broke the single season team home runs record, and Ryan Zuckerman collected tournament MVP by hitting like 700 over the
Dude,
course of three
dude was
days.
crazy. He was on fire.
Woo. A lot of baseball, a lot of wins. It's a damn good baseball team. It is a
Yep.
damn good baseball team. Jack, you were in person for the championship final in Charlotte at Truist Field. Help me drink it in here.
Yeah.
What were the sights and sounds?
The sites were good. I was telling my friend who I went up with and our friends Ethan and Kate, it was like if Truist Field is like if you took Russ Chandler and just cut the connector out and moved all the buildings closer. Like that's how close you are to everything. Like there's just a couple parking lots to service Bank of America Stadium, which is a block away, and then the field itself. So it's really nice that you can just park across the street and walk right in, and parking's not stupid expensive there, which is
Nice
good.
park across the street, by the way.
Yeah, yeah,
Like really
that's
nice walking park.
yeah. It's for this little part of Uptown Charlotte. It's not a bad not a bad site at all. Uh, we got lucky. We thought rain might have been a problem. We didn't know if we were gonna win this thing up by a technicality if the games all got rained out, and they just said scrap it. We can't play Monday because of the selection. So, but we got all of our games in. We got played all the innings, so that was in that sense good. Got to see guys in different kind of situations, which was nice. It was very full at this game, which granted, it's we were playing North Carolina, so there was locals everywhere. There was like, oh, that's a cheap ticket to go in and go see them play. So it was a very, very heavy UNC crowd of the 8,000 that were on hand. But there was still a pretty solid tech contingent of friends of ours that were that live up there or that were able to drive up. And there was a number of us that drove up. I had neighbors of mine that I'd known for a long time that had been there since Thursday, uh, taking in every game. So there was, I mean, for a lot of us were there, which was really, really good to see. And I mean, the guys played. It felt like a normal tech game. It's like, yeah, maybe a couple runs get allowed in there, but they they had the stranglehold on North Carolina by the end of the game, which was something I was scared we weren't going to be able to do. But we played our style of ball, and granted, UNC did give us 3 runs on wild pitches, which was very helpful near the end there. But
At a critical point in the game, by the way.
it
This
was so
game was
funny.
within 1 run, and then UNC's catcher forgets how to grab balls in the dirt on
It's
three
crazy.
consecutive batters
Three
with the
bet, yeah.
bases loaded.
And what's funny
And
is it was second and third with Burris up, and they walked Burris to load the bases, which I'm just like, why would you walk Burris with the bases loaded with the D1 hits leader hitting behind him? But that's beyond me. And then Burris got all the way home on wild pitches. Like it was a completely useless walk when it was all said and done.
and
Um,
these are some like I mean they went worked through UNC's like, top line guys, right?
we did.
Boaz,
Boas.
McDuffie,
Mm-hmm.
and then even the third guy that came in who gave up some of these wild pitches was still pretty decent in terms of their reliever selection. So I just forget who he is, but
It
yeah,
was yeah,
you need some luck to win championships, but
yeah,
and I'm not going to sit here and say they hadn't done the work before that because they got 2 of those runs back or 2 of those runs off of those wild pitches were kind of you're getting them back because you'd given up 2 runs in the previous half because it's some very
yeah.
uncharacteristic
It
errors
yeah.
in the field.
It was Matthew Mattis, Matthews, I think
Matthew
is his
Matias, I think.
Matthias. Yeah, yeah. He came in in the
Matt.
seventh. Yeah, he came in the seventh, and this dude was just throwing cutters. Like it was like one pitch, and but he would change the speed on it a lot. Eventually kept swinging in the dirt, but somehow still got on base. With it. But yeah, it was. I mean, we hit really, really well. We had really good approaches, which has been the story against us against bullpens pretty much this entire year. Is if there can be starters like Mercer's starter got to us pretty well. Georgia State had a guy that got to us pretty well, but if we can get past whoever we're starting with, which in this case was Boaz, who we put 6 on, uh, yeah, if we can do this against North Carolina, and there's only one other team that can maybe do this to us, and that's UCLA, and they barely beat Oregon on Sunday as well, and it took a crapshoot of a game to win that game 3-2 for them. So yeah, at this point they have shown everything you could possibly want to see in a tough single game format like this is, and here we are.
Here we are. That is the end of the ACC tournament with Georgia Tech on top. Now comes the big Gona, the NCAA tournament. Uh, Georgia Tech is the number 2 national seed, just barely could not pip UCLA for that one. They're paired with the Lawrence Regional, so that will be hosted by Kansas. Here are your 3 other teams in the Atlanta Regional: Oklahoma, the Citadel, and UIC. So the Citadel won the SoCon, and UIC won the Missouri Valley. And OU somehow 20th in pair, a 2 seed at large bid, and 10th in the SEC. It makes sense. Surely it all makes sense. Jack, where do you want to start with previewing the Atlanta Regional?
In general, just want to note everyone's available because I know that what McKee had a finger thing, and they just Ramsey said he was being extra cautious basically with his finger thing, so he's fine.
No, you got to
Nothing
give the
said there.
quote. You got to give the quote because I
He
got so
he
many
he,
problems with the way that he's phrased this.
he said it as a he said it was a measured gut reaction. Not a gut reaction.
Come on.
He that was he said it tastefully. I'd say in the press conference today, he was they like, yeah, I know I probably could have. He said I could have let him in, left him in. Like he had completely fell on his sword on that one. So, but it worked out in the end, of course. But so he's like, do not worry about a single person's pitching injury whatsoever or any theoretical stuff. We've got everybody. So all that to say, it's all systems go. I am. This is, I think, just in general, this is very favorable for us, just in general. Like looking at some of the background numbers on these teams and how and knowing our recent form, it's like there's no one here that I'm scared of in any way, shape, or form with any situation. We've got all of our starters have been really good. The bullpen guys have been good. We saw Cooper Underwood throw some high leverage, throw a high leverage ish inning and some change on Sunday, and that worked pretty well. So like I'm not and Shade had a massive inning as well. So like some of the guys that usually wouldn't be like you're probably ideal. Not ideal is the wrong word, but the guys you would line up if you were to do a one game situation didn't all have to pitch in that game against North Carolina. So I'm in. I don't know what to tell you. Well, okay, I do know what to tell you. We should win the damn thing easily. That is the on paper version of this.
I'm knocking on some wood
Yeah,
as we speak here.
please do. Please do.
I think a lot of listeners probably remember the 2019 Atlanta Regional, which is the last time that Georgia Tech hosted a regional. And to just make everyone feel the same pain that I did when prepping for this episode, let me tell you a little bit about how that went. They beat Florida A&M in the first game. They got walked off by Auburn in the winners bracket game, then had to play Coastal on the was that would be Saturday morning, and then fell to Auburn Saturday afternoon. I think this is kind of for me personally, this was a formative moment in my personal pitching politics, or my triple P's, if you will, when it comes to the NCAA tournament, in which you have to win. You have to win that first game, and you
Yep.
also have to do it with burning as few pitchers as possible.
Yep.
And you cannot run out of pitchers. You
No.
cannot run out of pitchers in a championship situation.
Yep. And in this
I
case,
think
this year we're looking a hell of a lot better in that scenario. And if we play a normal, if we play a way you would expect us to play against UIC, you're talking McKee's throwing 5 or 6 probably, and then hopefully we're already up 12-2 or something like that. I mean, we've scored 10 or more runs in over half of our games this year, 10 or more in over half. So that means, according to how this team has played, that does not mean we have to burn anybody important in theory Friday night or Friday afternoon. The game's at 12. Uh, so that's the really optimistic outlook I know in terms of that. But the pitching nightmare would have to truly be a nightmare situation for us, and that's maybe if we lose game 2 against Oklahoma or something like that, then we're in a hole. But if we win the first game, then we're still going to be extremely well set up in theory. It most likely for whatever pitching plans next for James Ramsey.
it's worth mentioning that I think Auburn was particularly underseeded in that regional because if
Mm-hmm.
you look at we've gone back and looked at the pair rankings for 2019. Tech was ranked 10th in the net ranking that pair puts out. They're ranked 17th in just the normal pair rating. And then you look at Auburn on the other side, 13th in net and 19th in pair rating. So these are like two very, at the time, like two very evenly matched
Yep.
teams. And that's kind of what shook out in two 50-50 ball games, right?
Yep.
Um, and to not to mention, I guess two or not to forget to mention two other things. Number one, Tech was down to one healthy starter at that point in the season.
Yep.
Brant Herter was out with getting Tommy John. Xavier Curry had been shut down for the rest of the year to prepare for the draft, and then Connor Thomas was the last man available in the rotation. And to his credit, he went the distance versus Auburn. And there was much consternation on if Danny Hall should have let him go the distance, especially with Tristan English available as a
Mm-hmm.
trusty closer that entire season. So all of that to say is Tech had two reliable pitchers. That entire they had probably three a total, and then they
Right.
had two on any given night, I guess.
Right.
But now they have a much deeper stable of pitchers. I think that kind of shows out in some of these pitching metrics that we pulled from Pair here. If you look at Tech's ERA in 2019, ERA and WHIP, I guess we'll start with.
Yeah.
They had they were 95th, ranked 95th in 2019 in ERA and 67th in WHIP. In 2026, they ranked 47th in ERA and 47th in WHIP. So it's a pretty substantial
Really
improvement.
so much better.
Obviously,
Yeah.
there have been 7 years in between, 7, 8 years in between, but you can understand like obviously this is a different team, but it's not the same team that was a three national seed. It's not even the same makeup of
No.
team that was the three national seed. And like a surprise three
Yeah.
national seed in that 2019 year. Just look, you can even compare the hitting metrics,
Well, I
right?
mean,
Like,
last year, just to keep on the pitching, last year our WHIP was 70th. A little, it was at 1.47. This year was 1.4. Our ERA was 4.87. This year it's 4.66, which sounds like similar numbers, but that means a lot over the course of about 60 baseball games, and how many fewer runs you're doing. And in 2024, when Matt Taylor was getting here, it was at 640. Our ERA was 648, which was 188th in the country. So there's your climb. That's what's making this different to talk about.
yeah, I think also just looking at this in the raw numbers really sort of belies the improvement because if you look at that 2019 95th ranking number, it's actually 4.46 and now it's 4.66. So it's
Yeah,
like the way that these things work is just I think you looking at the ranks is a lot more informative
yeah,
in these cases, and especially this K number has increased substantially. Right,
right,
this K per
right.
nine number, 22nd ranked, they're getting 10.2 Ks per nine, and in 2019 they were only getting
Yeah.
8.5.
Oh yeah,
So
we used to walk dudes at the wazoo. Like that was a huge problem for this guy. This team was not being able to finish at bats in a good solid way, and that has dramatically improved over this year. Um, and
I
even in a
would
point,
also say
good.
No, I would say just to butt in here, it's not just that. It's like speaking about the makeup of the team, right? In 2019, you're looking at like, oh, the pitching is sort of like hanging on by a thread,
Yeah.
but the hitting is like, oh, okay. They're like 90th percentile in the nation. Like that's pretty decent, right? Like runs per
Right.
game 16th, batting average 22nd, OBP 10th. That's neat.
Yeah.
And then you look at the offensive metrics
It's a little bit different
in
this year.
2026 runs per game first, batting average first, on base percentage first,
Yeah.
slugging first, OPS first. And I don't actually remember what ISO stands for, but third. Uh, it's nuts. It's nuts. They have a far better record versus quad one teams. They have a far better record across the board than they did
Yeah.
in 2019. So if you remember that team and the way that that schedule was a slog at times, and but they still did really well versus that schedule. This is just they've played like they've won. Let's say 5 more games than they did in that season. They only won 43 that year.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, they've already won 5 more and they've
Yeah.
lost 10 fewer. They just have played fewer games
Yeah.
this year.
Fewer games, but still, I mean, this is the best regular season team we've seen, and they've
Yeah.
so far in the three postseason context games we've seen them play in have not let up the gas, and or nothing really changed in terms of the demeanor and how they were playing, you could not hope for anything more. And
Yeah. And they're not getting particularly lucky either. Like they're right on their Pythagorean win
yeah.
probability or their run expectancy. They're right on with their luck in terms of win percentage over expected is
Hmm.
only like 2 points, 2 percentage points. Like they're not getting super lucky. They're a very good baseball team that has enough pitching to get them into a super for the first
Yeah.
time since the last time that this team made it to Omaha.
Yeah. I've sort of done this thing before, but I'm going to read off the names of pitchers that I'm like, yeah, I could see them pitching in a situation where they can be a real benefit to us if things are going right for us. And the number of names is what's going to be more impressive. Cooper Underwood, Caden Gaudette, Carson Bauer, Tate McKee, Jackson Blakely, Mason Patel, Justin Shadek, Brett Barfield, Jake Lanke, Dylan Loy, Dimitri Angelakos, Caden Campbell, Porter Bursama. That was like 12 names. Now,
I mean, a couple
do
of
it
those guys, it just comes down to like how many guys do you trust to get an out in like a medium to high leverage situation,
right.
right?
Yeah.
And I
Eh,
think at least like 8 of those names, I think I'm on board with.
right. Yeah. Like right now, yeah, I'm not. I don't need to single anybody out for to not be that guy. Like the ones that aren't showing up lately in games are the ones that are clearly aren't going to
Exactly.
have to serve that role. But um, yeah, it's and like they're more willing to be matchup specific as well. Like Cooper Underwood came in an inning where he was facing two lefties in the first three batters against North Carolina, and it worked perfectly in the eighth inning. Um, so that there's that element of it. What was also cool to hear Ramsey talk about the presser today was about how they did. There's a lot of design about this team was how they can do it in a postseason context too. Like, what are the kinds of things you need to succeed in Omaha, not just be a good baseball team that can win games. Like, what does it take to actually win the whole damn thing? And so there's a lot of intentionality in how this team was built for that specific purpose. He also conceded, it's like, yeah, I know this it won't be the best season in regular season program history ever every year kind of thing because eventually you could just go undefeated and that's not ever going to happen in baseball. Uh, but this is a very planned and purposeful team in terms of from everything from how it was built from the ground up after Danny Hall retired to how they prepared to everything. So so many good things are coming together. It shows up in all these stats we're talking about. It shows up with the number of guys that we have trust in right now. Um, it's now imagine being a bench guy on this team. It's like you got one of the easiest roles probably, which is I barely have to play. The dudes don't get hurt, and we win all of our games. So fun.
That is also the thing. I think like to that point about the 2019 team, these guys are healthy,
Hmm.
right? Like you're not
Right.
down multiple starting pitchers. Or maybe I
Right.
made this point earlier, but like you're
Yeah.
not down multiple starting pitchers. You're not worried about playing your best closer because he's also your like best hitter.
Yeah.
Um, like you're not worried about chancing that. Like guys have roles, they know what their
Uh-huh.
roles are, and they're executing consistently.
Yeah.
And it makes for an overall very strong, very deep team.
Yeah.
Do you want to start talking? Like, where do you want to start with talking about each of these teams? Because this first matchup is versus UIUC or UIC.
Yeah.
Wow, that's those are two different schools. Which won the Missouri Valley. I shout out Missouri Valley, home of Jake Grant. But this is like they're an auto bid, and Tech is favored by 9 right now
Yeah.
in pair ratings. Any more color on this one, or do you think we should we should skip right ahead?
I'm looking at the who pitched Friday last year was Mason or last game or their last series. It was Mason Lee who won. They won 8-3 against Bradley in their last regular season Friday start. He's done pretty well this year in terms of just the raw stats. So it's now again very different kind of competition. He threw 6 innings, only allowed two runs in that game, which is pretty good. But we'll see where. I mean, still, it's like yeah, this is such even against like these middle of the pack ACC teams where it's like, oh yeah, they got a good starter. It hasn't mattered. It hasn't mattered all year. Um, and in the
I
games
think
we
at
did,
least in this game, though, you know you're going to get
we
UIC's best shot. Like
right,
you might not in the other games in terms of the pitching staff,
right,
but this is going to be a little bit more similar to the Mercer situation,
yeah,
where you are going to get it's game one of the regional, right? So you are going to get this team's best pitcher
yeah,
out front, and they're going to be rested and healthy.
yeah. He has pitched at least 6 innings in his last dating back to April 10 against Murray State. So that's 7 straight starts. He's gone at least 6 innings. So he can go a long way and hits wise, not a whole lot of hits, not a whole lot of runs. So like we're gonna get a guy who's been pretty effective this year. He's got a 3.47 ERA, which would certainly be really good on our team if he existed. But then again, these are the teams he's playing against: Sam Houston, Tennessee Tech, Belmont, Murray State, Valpo, Youngstown State, Evansville, Illinois State. Like this is not the same quality. If he does well, good on him. But it's like this will be I
I
mean, he has to pitch against the best offense, one of the best offenses in BB core era history. That's what he's facing.
I do feel obligated to mention that they did win the Missouri Valley. So they are coming off a hot streak
They
just to
are.
get through
Yes.
that tournament. And I think baseball, and now I'm also, I think, convinced of it in hockey, is that being hot in these situations matters,
Yeah.
which is like a very anti-analytics take, I
Yeah.
guess, which I
They've
guess
yeah, they've won five of their last six. They won their final regular season series, which was at Bradley. They won the first two games, and then they beat Southern Illinois, Murray State, and Southern Illinois again in the Missouri Valley Championship. Uh, which not sure how they played the same team twice. I don't know how they did their format, but anyways, yeah, they've won. They've won by a lot, and they've won by a little in this stretch here. So they're certainly yeah. They're what's their overall record here? They're 20. They're
27,
27.
27 of one.
Yeah. So that's all. Keep that in mind too. This is a a conference champ that is not above 500.
Look, it come down to how well their best shot is, or how good their best shot is in terms of their pitching staff, right?
Right.
Um, then most likely Tech will advance to face OU, who we've talked about a little bit. 20th in net, 18th in the pair in the actual rating. The third hardest schedule in the nation per pair ratings. Tech is favored by 4 runs here. I mean, this is the weird one, right? Like
Sure.
their metrics are all low. Like you see the offensive metrics, runs per game is 142nd, batting average is 126, on base percentage 136, ERA is 98, K per nine though is 13, ranked 13th. So maybe keep an
Hmm.
eye out on their strikeout ability.
Yep.
Um, I think the way that I read this, and correct me if I'm wrong, is more of a baseball knower that they can get strikes, but they're going to leave a lot of balls over the plate that are just going to get tanked, and their bullpen is not super deep.
Yeah. Yeah. The slugging being a better spot than average is the kind of a signifier. Or no, sorry, the pitching might look at the wrong thing. Uh, yeah. No, you're right on that. We'll see how that goes. Xander Mercurius was their Saturday starter against Tennessee in their last regular series, and he allowed 4 runs in that game, only walked two, struck out six. So there's your high strikeout count there. He pitched 88. He went 88 pitches in that game over 5 innings. So decently, if it like that's good quality for against Tennessee, who's close to the kind of team that we are in terms of. So they've faced a lot of teams that are like us. Like they've played who have they played this year? As you mentioned, third toughest schedule. They had to play scrolling down LSU. They played Texas, number 2 team hosting, Bama, number
They
16 team
played
hosting,
Tennessee,
uh,
Florida.
Auburn hosting, Florida, Arkansas. Like yeah, they had played every, and then they lost in the tournament to LSU. Uh, so yeah, they know how to play teams like us, which is something. But then yeah, looking at these second games, which is where this guy Xander who's pitched, they lost last time against Tennessee. They lost in Arkansas when he pitched. They lost in Florida when he pitched. Beat Auburn just barely. So against the really really good teams, they're not winning this particular game, which would be the second game.
Yeah. So this would, who is your projected starting pitcher for game? I guess this is game three of the regional technically, but to Georgia Tech's game two.
Get
If it's
get
versus OU to advance
again.
to the regional final.
If it's against OU to advance to the regional final, so they would have had well at that point this would be their wait they would have won, lost, won. This would be their fourth game by that point, uh, because they would have had to get through the losers bracket after losing to us in game two.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
this backwards. The
yeah.
first winners bracket game.
Oh, first winners bracket. Oh yeah, that'd be us. I mean, because at that point we're throwing either Blakely or Carson Ballard, and we just threw
Ballard
Ballard and
was
he.
pretty decent to
Yeah,
open yesterday. Or,
right.
yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah, against North Carolina. Yeah, so yeah, no, I don't. Again, like on paper, there isn't a team we can't beat until we face until UCLA. That's the only team I'm like, okay, this is dicey. But yeah, in
Well, I
terms
don't
of,
want to play North Carolina again.
I don't want to
Let me
either.
be very
Well,
clear.
no, I don't want to either. But it's still like we faced them with similar arms situation where we had gone through 2 games each and played in a third game. So like it was pretty even Stevens in that regard. Um, but but that game yesterday against North Carolina, we looked like us, which did not happen when we played them in Chapel Hill in 2 of those games.
Mhm.
Which that was the big telltale sign to me. It was like, okay, this doesn't look like a different challenge. That's what we looked like the first time we played them. It did not that time. Uh, So yeah, ultimately you throw McKee game one. Now they haven't announced a pitching plan. They may decide, hey, we're gonna save McKee for game two. They may decide to do that. Who the hell knows? They could decide to go Ballard against UIC and then save.
I,
We don't know. We don't
hmm,
know. That's up to them.
I would not like it. These guys are rhythm based.
They are.
It's like Dance Dance Revolution. It's all rhythm based. You gotta keep them in line and on schedule. I don't like screwing with it. That feels I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious, and that tees me off.
I have no stations to gripe about. If they think it's better to throw someone else on against UIC because we got more dangerous arms, do it. That's sounds like. I mean, I would as he's mentioned this or Ramsey's mentioned this. Like they trust their strengths against any other team's strength, which
I
means that they.
respect it, and it's probably the right decision. But
Well,
like, it's
they
one of
have.
those things that you would get like if it doesn't work, you're getting killed in the media. Like
It did
you
work
are
for.
getting.
It has worked 48 times.
I look.
There's 48
I trust
wins
them.
to that strategy, and it's the most we've ever had in at this point. So like that's a obviously keep doing it that way. Whatever their thought process has spat out, keep doing that. Now the guys are talented enough to compensate if there was a tactical mistake, but for the so far, where is a tactical mistake that is costing us our season? There's none right now. So
I do want to say if Tech falls into that not in the losers bracket, but if they have to face the Citadel in this regional, oh boy, that is like a sneaky good Citadel team that cannot hit particularly well, but
no,
they are really really good on the mound.
yes, yeah, that'll
And
be
if you
something.
look at like the the divide between their pitching metrics and their hitting metrics is crazy. Like
Yep,
you're talking about the let's see 153rd runs per game offense in the nation, but the 49th ERA team in the nation.
yeah,
So that split is going to be really really tough to. I mean, like you have a good pitching staff. If you trust your pitching staff, you think you're going to generate that same output versus the Citadel, but it's going to be a slog.
yep,
Like getting hits versus that team. And they are sneaky good. I think for a three, being the 68th team ranked in net and then 71st in rating. So it's you got to be really really careful here,
yep,
not to get involved in a pitching duel with them because you really want to control your controllables and make sure that you win as many games as possible so that you
right.
stay on schedule.
Yep. And thankfully, for the most part, we only lost one ACC series, so we've been able to do that pretty much this whole time. Um, so yeah, like all right, I'm looking at the Q1 records here. Oklahoma went 13 and 17 against Q1 teams this year. UIC was 0 and 2, and Citadel was 1 and 10 in terms of sort of similar quality opponents. So Oklahoma, by courtesy of having to play the SEC, got a lot of those opportunities. Did not win most of them. So they win?
Obviously, that
Yes.
adjusts. Like you have to factor that in when looking at their metrics too, right? You're
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
very good offenses, very good
Yeah.
defenses,
Yeah.
very good pitching staffs. Um,
So yeah, they can do it. I should note the Lawrence region, if we win ours, the
Knock on
poss
wood, Jack.
the
Knock on
poss.
wood.
I don't believe in that stuff. I believe in math and numbers. The teams we could face: Kansas, Arkansas, Northeastern, or Missouri State. And Arkansas, their pair's only given Kansas a 50% shot at winning the regional. So
That's a tough one.
there's a
I
lot
think.
of like there is no telling who.
Arkansas being sent there, like a team that could have hosted
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
is tough.
Yeah, no, they were definitely in that conversation. So like this is an interesting one where there's some real who the hell knows is going to happen that coming out of that one. It's not
I
like
mean,
I mean it's not like the LA not like UCLA is like yep it's going to be them. Uh, it's
this
Auburn's
is
probably got a pretty
fascinating
fair.
though.
We've got
Have you looked at the full bracket, like in
yeah
the
I'm
pair
looking at
bracketology thing?
that's where I'm
So
looking
like
yeah
yeah, so you see like the teams that are like hovering around 50% in turn, like the ones that are hovering around 50% to win.
yeah
Um Kansas, Oregon, and Oregon State in that Eugene regional, which is fantastic drama, by the way.
yeah
Um,
three Pac-12 teams in the same regional. I thought that's not allowed.
two Pac-12 teams in that regional. I think I guess technically,
Oregon. I'm making an
Oregon
Oregon.
State's independent.
I'm
I
making an
know.
Oregon joke. Yeah.
The Lincoln Regional, Nebraska is the one, but has a 47% chance to advance, and that ASU team has a 22% chance to advance as the three. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking up and down here in Hattiesburg, Southern Miss only has a 57% chance to advance because UVA and Jacksonville State are right behind them. So, man, some of the questionable assignments, but I mean, will be questionable if you're the one. But
Right.
man, like
Overall,
if we kind of sail here, it's going to
yeah.
be fascinating baseball watching across the rest of the country.
Right. Yeah. There's no telling who can come out of a number of these regionals, which I mean makes me feel kind of reassured that like, all right, it seems like we have the one of the easier slates compared to a lot of these other teams that just are stuck with teams that are like Boston College is a 2 seed in Athens. Like, right, we know we beat the crap out of Boston College, but still, like that's still a good luck to Georgia. Like they gotta still navigate that and get through their good teams as well. So, um, trying to think of like the one that I think I'm most curious about when it's all said and done. Probably the North Carolina and Tennessee being in the same one is really interesting. Florida and Miami are in the same one. That's really interesting. And Troy's in there too. Troy can be very, very dark horsey in all this as well. They were the last team in, but like they got in ahead of Mercer, who beat us. So there's that's gonna be I think that's gonna be a fun one to see how that all pans out because Troy absolutely can steal a game and throw that into chaos. So yeah, our regional looks quite tame compared to the potential chaos we're going to see in other. And there's no way in hell this goes chalk across the board. Like that is not happening. It usually doesn't, but like this one can go a lot of ways, which is gonna make it really fun to watch. What's that? What's the Red Zone channel? Uh,
Squeeze play.
Squeeze Play. Yeah, Squeeze Play is gonna be great this weekend.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. Tickets are on sale, or well, they were, and they're
For
now
about
sold out.
for about
So
20 seconds. It was about 20 seconds.
yeah. So hopefully you got some. Otherwise, I imagine there'll be standing room only seating as things become available as teams get eliminated. So keep an eye out for that. Jack, anything else before we take a break for podcast business?
Thursday was what we were told there might be standing room release because not all the seating was available to just us because the other opposing teams get an allotment as
NCAA
well.
controls
Yeah,
ticketing.
yeah.
Nah, nah,
So,
nah, nah, nah.
so we'll get an allotment based on what's left after Oklahoma Citadel and UIC use whatever they can. I know I saw a lot of gripes of people being like, "Oh, I couldn't buy them because they went away too fast." There was only so few available because season ticket holders already were able to get tickets for this. So the ones that have paid their dues, the ones that have already paid for season tickets, they got first dibs at this before the regional was announced, which is why it went by faster than most ticket sale drops. So or Ticketmaster drops. So that's the reason why there was already a very very small allotment, and some of that a lot the yeah there were not whatever the capacity is at Rush Chandler. That number of tickets have not been explicitly purchased, so to say. It's just been divvied up proportionally to the teams. So that's why it may have seemed funky.
You know what you can buy right now if you go online, if not Georgia Tech baseball tickets. Jack, what's that time? It's
Oh,
podcast business time for section 103.
that is a thing you can buy. I will have this up by hopefully 9:30 on Monday night. And if you listen to it Monday night, you have until the end of today for birthday sale, anywhere from $5 to $45 off products. Otherwise, it's just going to be normal pricing. You can still get Drew Burris jersey for the weekend if you would like. That goes straight to him, of course, through the NIL deal and stuff like that. It looks like everything is pretty normal right now. There's still some stuff on sale if you haven't gotten anything from there in a while. It is very much worth it. If you have anyone that's Purdue, South Florida, Kansas State, Georgia Southern, Clemson, or LSU fan, they've got stuff for them as well. I must admit, I kind of like some of the Clemson stuff. I don't ever root for them, but I might actually wear one of those shirts just if someone handed it to me. But anyways, you can use our code FTRS, gets you 10% off, free shipping over any orders over 100 buckos, and then uh, hopefully we do so well that he's forced to make celebratory T-shirts. That's one of the side effects that I hope that we get
Oh
this year. So,
no, Steven has to make celebratory t-shirts for his
oh
alma mater. Oh,
yeah, what could be worse?
horrible.
What could be worse? Section103.com or at Section103 on the Instagrams and everywhere else.
You want to know what you can buy off of Section 103? It's a fantastic, fantastic Golf and Buzz polo.
That you
Golf and
can.
Buzz polo.
I,
Why would that be relevant, Jack? Why would I say that?
I
Why
hope
would
our
I
new,
say that?
I really hope our new head coach will get this exact polo.
That'd be great. I assume he's already at his press conference, but that would be stellar. That is right. Georgia Tech golf season has ended at the NCAA regionals in Winston-Salem. They did not advance out of being, I believe, the 5 seed, a seeded team there. But they did make a big splash in the college golf universe by hiring sitting Oklahoma head golf coach Ryan Hybl as their new head golf coach to replace the retiring Bruce Hepler. This is massive, and I think I just have to read Hybl's record at OU to really make this point. He has not missed an NCAA regional since 29 or not 2019. Wow, 2009. I guess it would have been the 2010 regionals, but 2009 season. He has made the NCAA championship in every single year since 2009 when it was offered. Since 2009, he's won it once in 2016-17. And he's made at least the match play 7 times of 15 at championship appearances. This is a massive deal. Like,
Yeah,
this is a huge splash for Ryan Alpert to make. Like,
yeah.
I am shocked. I
No,
am
this
incredibly impressed.
he clearly was like, well, I mean, the prestige of Tech golf is large, and we've been a very consistent contender for many, many years. So it's not like we weren't like a nobody in this space, but it still is one of the most impressive things you can do as a GM, so to say, in this context, and hire the most qualified guy that you could hire, like whoever's
That you didn't even know was available.
right,
Like, just go
it,
out and start like offering bags of cash to people and see
right,
who would
right.
turn up.
Right, which speaks a lot to the prestige, but and the ability that Albert's been able to do to convince people to come work here. Um, Now, I think there is some context I think still here to put in there is that there were some he has connections to Georgia. He Ryan went to Georgia. He's a UGA grad. Um, his name probably started getting floated out there because Georgia's coach stepped down this year as well, and there was thought that he might be the guy to come take the job because he was an alum and obviously isn't really well at Oklahoma, bring him home kind of situation. But Georgia they just promoted their backup. They promoted Mookie DeMoss to take over the team, who was their backup, also an alum. So they promoted from within. They literally did not offer the job to Hybl. But yeah, now, so there may have been something there, but like, okay, he could be, he was an option, obviously. This name was floated out there for that job, so he wasn't a nobody. Um, but yeah, no, this is, I mean, I try to put this, how would you put this in like, who was the baseball coach that went from Texas to Texas A&M or the other way around? Like,
Oh, yes.
it's kind of Schlesinger, is that his name? Um,
Yeah, Sloshnagel? Sloshnagel.
yeah, it's like that. It's like, okay, here's the guy that's clearly like like basically the number one coach in the country right now, like the most well respected, highest success, all the things, and then you just take him like
Yes, it
this.
was Sloshnagel.
Yeah,
I'm not pronouncing that right, but
yeah.
yeah, in
It
24, he basically, let's see, they lost in the no, they went to the CWS. They went to Omaha in
yeah
24. They lost to Tennessee in the final, and then like 2 weeks. Oh no, this is in 21. Never mind. No, I'm
well
reading this right. In 24, he lost in the final,
yeah
and then like 2 weeks later, he was in Austin.
yeah yeah.
Oh no,
It's
the next day.
Yeah, it was the
The
next day.
next day.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was absolutely. Now this is a little bit different. Not like we're not arch rivals with Oklahoma or anything like that. It is
What are
incredibly
you
ironic
talking
that
about? Texas and Texas A&M aren't rivals.
no us no
What are you,
no no
what are you talking about?
they did as far as I know they weren't in the same conference. Uh, but no, yeah, like this isn't that level of rivalry stuff. Like we don't have that with Oklahoma. But it's ironic that they're playing here in baseball this weekend, of course, too. So, it cannot be overstated how impressive of a hire this is. And also, I think my first thought was like, we've got a guy who can be here for decades because quite literally Hepler was here 4 decades. He's been here since the 90s, and he was the fourth ever golf coach. Heupel's going to be the fifth ever Tech golf coach head coach that we've had. Now, golf coaching is not the same as football head coaching and all that. Like it's much easier in many respects. So as long as you're putting together a good team, you're going to keep your job, which Hepler, of course, did for decades, and Ryan has done also for a long time, for 17 years at Oklahoma. So knowing how that sport works, and that for Ryan, it was really important to be near family. I'll read this quote. He said, "We've missed out on a lot of special moments with our family in Georgia over the years, and we couldn't pass up the opportunity to not only lead such a great historic program, but to do it at home." So we get the home. He gets the homecoming he wants, and gets to work for one of the best programs ever. So how do you? I mean, I get it was gut wrenching for him to leave from Oklahoma, because Oklahoma said, "We'll pay you what you want." Like, they offered him the blank check to stay there. That's
Also,
how.
he's still coaching, by the way. Again, they made the NCAA full championship.
Yeah,
He's going to Carlsbad this weekend and then starting work.
I mean, I think recruiting's a little bit less demanding in golf than it is with football. So there's some leeway there. I would hope.
I'm sure
But
that OU fans are at the gates of a local airport, extremely angry, chasing him onto a private jet to Atlanta.
right, right.
Surely that hasn't happened recently.
No, I don't think that's ever happened. He's from, so the town in Georgia he's from is Colbert, Georgia. If you happen to be familiar with that, so there's a good Golf Channel article about this that Brentley Romine, a friend of mine, wrote, that covers a lot of this. So he's got a good story about that. What's funny about Bruce is he's just moving right back to Utah. Like, he won't even be around. He's just going right on back home. They built a house. He's gonna enjoy retirement. Couldn't I love that for him so much.
Hats off to him. Built an amazing program, an incredibly successful program, and you could not ask for a better succession plan story than
No,
this.
not at all. This is perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely insane how lucky and how well positioned we were, and how well Alpert did to pull this off. So, um, yeah, I'm trying. We didn't put. I remember when we did like our Mount Rushmore episode where we just like ranked everything we possibly could rank in terms of people at Georgia Tech.
We got really
Um,
bored one off season, huh?
we really did. And I wouldn't necessarily put Hepler in like I wouldn't put him in the Rushmore of like the entire school, but like in terms of the longevity and impact he's had on a single program, Hepler's impact on the golf program is absolutely tremendous. I mean, we've been knocking on the door of national championships. Hiroshi Tai got the individual national championship a couple years ago, so the impact cannot be overstated at all that Bruce did, and this well, hopefully Hybl can take it further, because like obviously if we left some national championships on the table under Hepler, like that's the advancement, is that we were second so many times under Bruce. How do you turn those seconds into firsts? And I mean, Hybel's won the whole thing. He's done it before, so uh,
The only thing that Bruce Hepler does not have is the NCAA team championship trophy. He has
yeah,
all of the others, as many of the others as you could dream of. He
yeah,
just does not have
yeah,
the NCAA team
yeah.
championship.
And we'll have some guys left on this team. I feel like I mentioned this I forgot if I've done this, but like in terms of the roster, uh, oh, I've already updated the roster. So we've got Fontenot, Hansen, Rawson Hardy, Brady Rackley the fourth, and Didrik Bengston. So there's a lot of dudes that are like Hiroshi Tai's done. Like that's it for him. And so who knows if we take any Oklahoma people? I don't know. The Golf Channel article that Brentley wrote mentions Ryder Cohen as a potential option. He's a finalist for the Haskins Award that has eligibility left. So who knows? Brent Reuter and Aiden Tran were the other guys that left our team. So we'll see how that goes. Or he just recruits a phenom and then we just win that way. Who knows? I trust him. I inherently trust him based on his resume.
Yeah, fair enough. Any other news and notes from around the flats, Jack?
Uh, what's we got? Track and field will do first round NCAAs this week, so that's all that's happening there. Um, the volleyball schedule did come out. That was the thing. We'll do a deeper dive later on once we don't have baseball in the way, so we can really give them the full attention they deserve. But we do know who we're playing, and the notable thing is just to know we play in Ames against Iowa State and UNI and Loyola to start the season. The Georgia Tech Invitational, whatever that first weekend is, will be Labor Day weekend against Southern Indiana, Campbell, and Xavier. Oklahoma, hey, guess who's back? Is our ACC SEC Challenge opponent. And then we go to Nebraska. We play Nebraska in their building. That's
This is the whole thing, right? If you look at the schedule, it is very clear that after last season and getting pipped by SMU and Stanford, Tech has been demoted a scheduled tier.
they
And
have
so
and
to put back the challenge on their schedule, they got to go out and schedule the team that's putting, you know, 90,000 people
right,
into their football stadium for an outdoor volleyball game and or, 30 to 50, 30 to 35,000 people in a Wrigley
right,
Field most likely in
yep,
September for a volleyball game.
yeah.
Sure. Why not?
And the good news is we keep a lot of production this year. Like Bianca Garibaldi's still in at middle blocker, who was a fantastic ascendancy for us last year. Sarah Toth is still there, etc. Easy Suarez is still there. Laura Bieleski is still there. We still have Anna Fedorovich, who was a really key outside hitter for us. Still have Larissa Mendez, of course. So a lot of the key pieces are still here and should be able to. The team should be better. And the fact we only played Pitt once, very, very nice. We only played with Stanford was our travel pair, or our third team we played twice along with SMU and Clemson, and we get all of them basically the back half of November. So we only go to Louisville; they don't come here. Pitt, so the big thing: Pitt and SMU, the weekend of October 23rd to 25th. Both of those games are in McCamish. We have back-to-back
I think
games in McCamish.
that's homecoming too.
That is in fact homecoming.
Boston
Yes,
College
yes. So
game,
it'll be
football game in the middle.
Friday night will be the Pitt game, which also corresponds with Buzz Bash on campus, and then SMU is on Sunday at 1 o'clock. So, yeah, Boston College on Saturday in football. So that's gonna be a crazy big weekend for the sports there. Which I mean, I love that they're doing it there that homecoming weekend. Like, if you're gonna get more
It's the best
people,
way to juice attendance.
right? It's the yeah. I don't know how else you're gonna do it. And also, our opponents are just that's our two best opponents in a single weekend on campus the entire season as well. The Stanford game is possibly during the Georgia football game on the Saturday the 26th. So I hate that has to be that day, but that's just how that one panned out. Um,
They've done that a couple years. It
yeah,
happens.
it does, but yeah, I mean, otherwise we played at Georgia this year, so like our home slate, quite honestly, not the best one we've had in the past, but that you can't control the conference schedule, and then from there you do your best in non-con scheduling. So that's where we're at. But I mean, still be worth seeing them. They're going to play really well this year. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah,
Last thing I got on the board is that the Athletic Association was approved for $70 million in financing for the 2027 planned renovations. So that's including the new video board, the seat backs, the new club sections, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think this is speculation, but if I remember from the last time we read through the financial documents, I think SunTrust said, please stop asking us for money. And Georgia Tech, the Athletic Association, has now gone to develop Fulton for $70 million of bonds. So yeah, that's more debt on top of the 300 something odd million that they are still working on paying off.
200. I think
So
it was 271 last we checked, but that was like
I'm
4 years
rounding
ago.
up.
It's
It's
probably
also now 300, so well
yeah.
over 300.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, this does change it. So yeah,
I
big.
guess I should specify that it's up to 70 million in bonds,
We'll see
but
how it goes.
question mark.
Every ticket sold technically probably does help that, but only a very 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 little bit. Um,
Hey, keep winning football games and more money flows through.
if you walk up to them with a very large money bag and say, "Hey, do what you need to do with this," they won't say no.
Revenue generation at all costs, Jack.
That's
Which
where
is a
we're
very
at.
thing to say when you think about it. Revenue
Yep.
generation at
Mm,
all costs. Now I
mm.
think I'm getting punchy. It's only 7:30. Anyway, I think that's about all we have for this week. So do you want to take us out?
Yes, you can find us at fromtherumbleseat.com. I'll be there this weekend for baseball doing coverage there. So you can find our work on that site. If you want to email us, we're at fromtherumbleseat@gmail.com, which can be anywhere from you just want to shoot the crap or you got questions or whatever. You can find us at FTRS blog on Twitter and Blue Sky. I am at Jack Nicholas Personal, but I don't really use that nowadays. Section 103 is at Section 103. Our stuff's on Facebook. It's we post this pod on YouTube as well, wherever wherever you get your podcast. You can find me and Akshay's work at Game on Paper at gameonpaper.com in approximately 3 months when the football season starts. But outside of that, thanks for listening. We'll see y'all this weekend. Go Jackets.